Everybody, I wanted to have a quick heart-to-heart about coin pushers pricing, and what better way to do that than just play the game while we're talking. So, when we were thinking about the price that we could put this game at, the initial thought was that we could ask for $3, and this was immediately after the game jam that we held to make this game, and we had about 2 hours of gameplay at that time, thinking that we might be able to push a little bit longer if we added some more content. Throughout development, though, we found that there were some issues with both the physics and the table itself, and we couldn't really identify where that was occurring from. So we did a couple of fixes to try and alleviate that, and they worked very well. One of them was to put a fake invisible cube on the table to help smoothen out the movement of the coins. And then there was the idea to change the shape of the table to help push the coins out to the bottom that you see here. Like I said, this worked very well. The problem is that this pushed all of our gameplay down from about 2 hours to 30 minutes. At 20 minutes if you get pretty lucky. This is a pretty big problem, of course. And if I compare what the game used to be at 2 hours and what the game is now, I vastly prefer what it is now. Because the 2 hours were padded out runtime in a lot of cases while you were just waiting for coins to generate. As you can see here, my coins still haven't run out and we're doing just fine. So, in the last couple of weeks I've been very introspective after work, and I haven't really talked about my thoughts about the pricing at all. Just kind of going along with the $3 that we initially wanted to spend, but it didn't sit right with me. So a couple of days prior to our store page going live, I posed the question on stream. Honestly, would you guys pay for this at $3? And people said no. And I said, you know what? I'm with you. I wouldn't pay $3 for it either. So we kind of just talked about releasing it down at $2 as opposed to $3. And then I went home and I talked to my wife, and honestly, I wouldn't release the game at $3 either, or at $2 either. So I was like, okay, we can just put it at 1, like whatever. What's the worst that can happen, right? Was there a 1 in here? Wait, let me try 1276. There we go. I was like, okay, we can just release the game at $1. I mean, how many sales were we expecting anyway, right? Maybe like 10,000, 15 at most throughout the lifetime. Like, okay, well, 10, 15,000 bucks. It's not no money. It's more money than we've ever made in this company, I'll tell you that. But at the same time, why don't we just make it free? Like, at that point, like 10, 15,000, that's nothing in the grand scheme of things, right? I'm talking to publishers about deals for millions, hundreds of thousands. Sure, I could use 10, 15,000 right now. I could, spend it on a vacation that we desperately need in my household. Or I could just put it out for free. We'll eat the cost. Wasn't very much. Just had to pay for localization and some artwork. And what we'll do is work really hard to make an even better sequel. One that I feel confident pricing at even $1. So we're gonna have a post-mortem about this game, and if you're not familiar with what a post-mortem is, it is a presentation, a discussion, a transparent, open, and honest about everything that you did right and wrong with the game and the lessons that you've learned and are going to apply to your future titles. We obviously learned a lot of really important things for this title, and it's far from perfect, but I feel that the quality is something that we can replicate again and do even better than this. I think that we spent a lot of time rushing towards the release date on this. We cut some corners. We didn't expand on the design at all because that would have included adding more content and therefore taking more time. Accidentally, and maybe not with the right intentions, we reduced the scope of this game quite significantly. That's not a bad thing, but I would like to push the scope up to something that is more reasonable, to where I would not feel guilty charging $5 for a sequel. And I want to make sure that this commitment is well known from this video. If I don't feel confident playing or paying the price for one of these games that I release, we're not going to release it at that price. Simple as that. And I didn't feel confident. I certainly didn't want to pay $3 for what we're making here. And I didn't even really want to pay $2. Sure, I might have paid $1, but again, at that point, I'm trying to make a strategic decision that I think that we can get more interest and visibility in what we're making by simply pricing this for free and funneling people over to our Twitch channel primarily. Oh, I got 2 tokens. Look at that. So our plan with the sequel is up in the air. All I've talked to with Rex, who's our 3D artist, who's done an incredible job with this game, and with Kotspur, who you guys know probably from our longtime work on Cauldron Chronicles and even before that, is we want to make it bigger, we want to make it better, we want to take all the lessons that we've learned and apply them to that game, and really just start to build up that financial foundation to our company that will allow us to pursue even bigger and better things. And one day, hopefully, that includes Cauldron Chronicles. Another gallery token. So some of the ideas that we're floating around, if you're curious, are just expanding the mini games, delving deeper into fun activities, having multiple tables so that we can avoid having to wait for coins to regenerate. I think that we will stay committed to making a game that is a no-lose game, something casual and relaxing, where your progress is generally assured, and there may be some setbacks, maybe some small costs, but ultimately, you're never going to get to a point where you can't push further. So, that's what I wanted to talk about. As you can see, the game is very playable. We submitted our gold build to Steam. There's one bug with the main menu that I just found while I was recording this video, so I gotta fix that. And I think I can fix it today, and then submit a new build. And then we'll be doing some initial design for Coin Pusher 2, whatever we want to call that, I don't know yet. And then starting to work on it. And that's going to take immediate priority over our other games. However, we still might take some breaks to work on other titles when there just isn't much for me to do in Coin Pusher or I'm waiting on something. So I think the postmortem is going to be very interesting and very illuminating, and we're going to be doing that live probably next week sometime, and then we're putting that up on YouTube because I think that will be a very interesting talk to have, and we'll show all the mistakes that we made behind the scenes that maybe you guys didn't see directly, and we're just going to be very open and transparent about all that. So either way, I think that's all I have to say. The game is out on September 4th. You can find, unfortunately you can't find a link to the game below the YouTube video because YouTube removed my ability to put links under the YouTube videos for some reason, just randomly. And I have to wait for probably another month or something to get that back, which is really dumb. But you can look up Coin Pusher Reloaded on Steam. It will be out on September 4th at 1 p.m. UTC is when we're going to push the live button. And it is 100% free. It does have gamepad support natively for Xbox, and you might have to use a program like DS4 Windows or Input Mapper if that's still around to get it working with your DualShock controllers. I apologize for that. That is something that we need to fix for the second game because, as I'll cover in the post-mortem, getting the gamepad support has been an absolute nightmare and was and still is the source of most of our issues. So, oops, I messed that up. 2501, let's try. Wait, there wasn't a 2. Was there a 3? 350. That's what it was. So guys, I will leave you there. I hope that when the game comes out, you guys enjoy it for a little while. The soundtrack is awesome, as you can hear. It's very like Mass Effect-y. and I'm thinking of recording a separate video of just the main menu without anything, and with that music playing, so that you guys can have like a little something to pull up on your YouTube if you guys like to watch YouTube music or something. So either way, take care, guys. I will see you tomorrow. Today I'm not streaming if you're watching this on the day that it's releasing. Tomorrow we're going to be streaming Battlefield 6's open beta weekend 2, or at least a little bit. It's very hot, and maybe I'll play it from home. Not sure yet, but I kind of think the camera is pretty fun, so maybe I'll just stream it from work and try to push through the heat as best I can and not melt my computer in the process. And then next week we're going to be streaming the whole week, and doing a little bit of experimental dev stuff, so things that are unrelated to Coin Pusher or to any of our other games. And then we'll be doing the post-mortem once I have the presentation finished, which I might be able to this weekend. I've already given my notes to Rex. He pretty much agrees with everything I said, doesn't have much to add, and I'm just going to compile those into a presentation and do it. So maybe we'll do that Monday. We'll see. Either way, take care. Have a wonderful weekend, you guys, and I will see you back tomorrow for Battlefield 6 Open Beta.